Alright, welcome to the stream. I'm hoping my volume levels are okay. So it's been a little while since I streamed. This time I'm not going to do anything with Scorpion Engine. I'm going to be working with Ink. So Ink is an interactive fiction engine that you can use to make choose your own adventure style stories. But we're going to use some of the more advanced features to make something a bit more like a traditional adventure game where there's exploration and then there's inventory and maybe an NPC or two. So this isn't going to be a full start to finish project, but this is going to be just sort of a framework based on some experiments I've done with making adventure games, I think. So I'm going to get started. I have a empty Ink file. I always call my main file root, so that I know that's the starting point of the application. So what am I going to call this? I'm just going to call this dog game. It's not really going to be a game. It's just sort of going to be it's going to be a game with a dog in it, but it's not going to be like, you're not going to have like a narrative or full start to finish. But what I want to do is I want to have rooms, I want to have objects, I want to have sort of a pathfinding algorithm, and then an NPC that uses that pathfinding algorithm to be able to find the way from one place to another place, from one point of the game to any other point of the game. So all I've done so far is I've used the HTML H tags for header. So I've said this dog game. What I am going to do next is, well, I'll add a start button. So I'm just going to say start. The reason why this is in brackets is because I don't want that to display after I've clicked it. This is the end of story, which is fine. I haven't actually done anything else. I'm going to add a dash, so that's like a default for, if I click this button, then it's going to do that by default. Oh yeah, I probably should say, if you're watching this video and you haven't really got a good grasp on Ink, I'll try not to go too fast with it. But basically, all we've got here is we've got a choice, and our only choice is to start the game. We've got it in brackets, so it won't display the text. And then that basically means that we come back to the flow here. I am going to create a new Ink file, and I'm going to call this one tick. And then inside this function, inside this file, I'm going to create a knot. So a knot is basically like a chapter header. And I'm just going to call this one tick. And so why I'm calling this one tick is because I'm going to use this as like representing of the passage of time. So every time I go to tick, it means that some time has passed and then the player can move again. So it's sort of like a turn-based sort of game. Oh, hi Mixels. Welcome to the chat. I do hope you find this interesting. I think, as I mentioned, the Ink script was the basis for the first scripting in Scorpion Engine before code blocks came in. I may add it back in as an option at some stage, but it is a very, very elegant system for writing interactive stories. But I'm not going to use it for making the sorts of stories it's designed for. I'm going to try to make something a bit more advanced, a bit more adventure game-like. And you might actually notice some of the similarities with, in Scorpion Engine, I've got it so that if you've got a label in a code block, it has those three equals. Though some of these sorts of things are still within Scorpion Engine today. So I'm going to say, okay, well, let's go to tick. I'm just going to put some text in here to make sure it's working. No, so that's the game being played there. That actually updated straight away. So so every time you make a change, it goes and makes all of the same decisions over again. So that means if you're making a really long game, you don't have to play from the start every time you make a decision. You just have to play through to where you were before, and then if you make a change, it will keep you at that position of the game. Um, oh, I'm just going to add a end there. So end basically means quit. So I'll just put that there. What I want to do next is I want to add some rooms. So I'm going to add a new include, and I am going to call this rooms.inc. And we can define a list. So I'm going to go list rooms equal what rooms we want. We want a bedroom, a bathroom. Oh, why is it complaining? What have I done here? No, that's okay. I just needed to add a just needed to make sure I didn't end on a comma. So let's add some more rooms to the house. So we've got bedroom, bathroom, hallway, staircase, living room, kitchen, and well, that will do for now. We will add some more rooms later on as we go. So now I need to define a variable for where we are. So I'm going to go player room, and I'm going to say, well, the player room, let's start in the bedroom. So when I go back to here, let's change this to say the player is in the player room. So we're using variable name there. So we've got the player is in the bedroom. Actually, I'm going to, that's a bit clumsy. I'm going to go say you are in the bedroom. But obviously we need some choices about where we can go. So, and in order to be able to determine where we can go, we need to know, well, which rooms link to every other room. So, obviously when you're in the bedroom, you can't just teleport outside. We need to know what rooms have doors into other rooms. So we're going to use a function for that. So a function is like a not, except that it's intended to return a value. So, so what I am going to do is with this function, I need to go return. I'll go return 0 as a default. Actually, no, I'll return an empty list. So by having brackets like that, we're saying return list with no entries. So if for some reason we have some rooms that don't actually have any doors anywhere, then we can just return that. Otherwise, let's start adding some lists of what rooms are adjacent to other rooms. So I'm going to say if it's the bedroom. Oh, now what I'm making here is a kind of switch statement or if statement. So I'm basically saying if what value are we dealing with? So we've got room. So that's a variable checking and saying, well, if it's the bedroom, we want to return. So we're returning a new list that has hallway. If we're in the bathroom, we'll say that's also connected to the hallway. And the hallway, we will say that's connected to the bedroom, bathroom, staircase. The staircase is connected to the hallway. Oops, it's supposed to be hallway, living room. The living room, we'll say that's connected to the kitchen and the lawn. The lawn is only connected to the living room. And then kitchen is only connected to the living room as well. So we've got a sort of map or a structure of how each of these rooms connect to every other room. But what we need to do with that function is work out what rooms we can actually move into. So if we go to tick, let's start adding some options. So we'll use plus to say that we've got a new option, and we need a condition for this option. So I'm going to put that in brackets. I'm going to go adjacent to player room has bedroom. Go into bedroom. Oh, what's it complaining about? Line out of content. Bedroom. I'm going to add one more function here. Function go to, just in case we need to do anything fancy with changing room. I'm just going to go player room equals room. Now that there basically just means setting the variable or doing a logical function as opposed to printing text. So with that goto function, we can go to bedroom, and then we will go back to tick. Say that time has passed. Now the problem here is we don't actually have we don't, because we're already in the bedroom, we can't go there. So we have to do another option for going to the hallway. Oh, and the has basically just means it's checking a list for that entry. So with adjacent to, we're saying here's a list of rooms, and then with has, we're just checking that that list has this specific room. So now we've got, well, we can go into the hallway, we can go into the bedroom. That's it so far. So we need to add all of those other rooms, so we will do that real quick. There may be some way within Ink to do some sort of loop where it loops around and generates all these automatically. I'm not sure how to do that, so I will not bother. So hallway. Bathroom, go into bathroom. In this case, we go to staircase. Oh, need to set that as well. Do let me know if my microphone is okay. It's been a long time since I've streamed, so I don't know if my volume is okay. So we're nearly done here. Mixel says it's really clear. That is good to hear. Whoops, I made a mistake here. We're only checking if the room that the player is in is adjacent to the other rooms. So that's that. Kitchen. Go to the lawn. Oh, go. Alright, I can make it go outside. Whoops. That was a mistake. Those need to be like that. So we can actually go to those places. Lawn. Okay, so I think that's all the rooms we've got in the game so far. I might add one or two more rooms. Okay, so let's go back to the start. Let's make sure we can go everywhere. So it says we're in the bedroom or in the hallway. So let's go into the bathroom. In the bathroom, go to the hallway. We'll go to the staircase. We'll go to the living room, the kitchen, back to the living room, outside, lawn, go to the living room. Okay, so that's so we've got our basic navigation system. But we actually want to have some items or inventory. So let's add an ink file and call it items, and let's add a list of. Do we want to create it as a list? Yeah, I think we do want to create a list of items, and let's start with a food bowl and a water bowl. Um, we also um, we also need to know where they are. So since we can't use the list to store the location, I'm going to create a separate variable for each one. So I'm going to go food bowl location, and I will say, well, they can be the kitchen, and the water bowl location that can be on the lawn. Um, let's add a function for working out what items are in a specific room. So we could say um, function is in room, and then I'll go room and item, and then I guess we just want to go return. Oh, actually, we're going to need to do a switch statement here. So I can go. So if we're asking for the food bowl, then we can go return food bowl room equals room. This may not be the most elegant way to do it, and I may improve on it. Oops, and that's supposed to be double equals. Why isn't it? Oh, I've used location there. I should have called it room to be consistent. Food bowl room, and then I'm gonna justify this by saying item. Well, I'm gonna make it a bit more clear by saying item is a room. And then we could maybe make this more elegant by having sort of a loop to loop through all the items, but this is a quick and dirty way of doing it. So I can say if item is in room player room food bowl, we will say the dog food bowl is here, and let's do the same for the water bowl. Whoops. Oh no, I made a mistake here. I was supposed to think this is the way I was supposed to do it. Yeah, I was supposed to make it inline. So what I've done here is I've created a condition, and so if this condition is true, it's going to display this text. Or at least that's what I hope it's going to do. I'm hoping I haven't messed that up. But let's have a look. So if I go to the living room, I think I put the food bowl in the kitchen. Yep, the dog's food bowl is here. You are in the living room. Let's go outside, and the dog's water bowl is there. So we've got some items. We can't really do anything with them just yet. So I am going to create a new ink file now. I'm going to call this characters, and I'm going to list characters equals player. I'll add a dog at some stage, but for now it's just the player. And then I need to have a inventory, so I'm going to go player inventory equals var player inventory equals that. So what that basically means is that this is an empty list. So the player inventory, and by having closed brackets with nothing in it, that means I don't have anything. If I did something like dog bowl, that would mean that I would, or food bowl, it should be that that means that I would have the food bowl by default. But I'm going to say no, I don't have anything by default. I suppose I want to be able to pick up those items, so I'm going to add an option for. I'm going to say, let's say if list. Actually, do I have a? Okay, so I don't actually have a function for returning all of the items that are in the room. So I can do that. So I can go functions items in room, or maybe all items in room. Can I create a? I think I can create a temp variable. List result, and then I'm just going to go return list result. Oh, what's the problem here? Expected end of line after not. Oh, that should be function rather than functions. Okay, so list result. So we can go. What's the best way to handle this? We can go if food bowl room equals room. We can go list result plus equals food bowl. And we can do the same for the water bowl. And that means we can tidy this up quite a lot. So for this one, we can just go return all items in room. Room has item. So I'm just going to check that it still works with what we had before. Go to the kitchen, the dog's bowl is there. Living room, go outside, the dog's water bowl is there. So we've got a function that returns all of the items in a room, as well as a function that returns if a specific item is in a room. Now, what we wanted to do is say we wanted to add a new choice if list count all items in room player room is greater than 0. And let's say pick up item Oh, I don't need that colon there. I do need, just going to go end. I just make sure that if I go to some place that has an inventory item. Yep, so I've got pickup item, but I need to actually do something here. So I'm going to make a new knot, and I'm going to call this pickup item menu. Actually, I should, for all the choices, I think I should keep them here so they're all in the same place. So I'm going to go pickup item menu, and then so this is going to be another set of options. I'm going to have one which is never mind, and then I'm going to put that as like the default of what happens after I make a choice, and then tick. So I'm going to need to add a item is in room, player room, food bowl. And let's call this pick up food bowl. Water bowl. Just I'm gonna make a quick change. Actually, I should put that in characters, so everything relating to the characters is in one place. I'm gonna have the player start in the kitchen just so we've got access to the food bowl straight away. Says pick up item. Oh, now that is a bug. Because that function should check the water bowl. Okay, but that's not actually going to do anything, because I don't actually have a function connected to it. So I need to add a new function. This is maybe not going to be very elegant. So transfer item. From no, I actually just need item and 2. And then just go return. I don't need to return a value on that. Yeah, I need to check what item we're talking about. So if the item is the food bowl, then food bowl room equals 2. And if it's a water bowl, we go water bowl room equals 2. So with that function, we can transfer the item from one place to another place. So I'm going to go transfer item food bowl. Now this is where it gets a little clever. Instead of transferring it to a room, we're transferring it to the player. Because all these rooms are list entries, and because all the characters are list entries, we can basically use them the same way. So I'm going to say we'll transfer the item from whatever room it's in to the player, which is technically a room as well as a character. So we'll do that the same way. Let's start that again. So if I pick up the dog's food bowl, it says you're in the kitchen. So that's gone. But we want to be able to drop items as well. So if I go list count all items in room, and then instead of player room, I go player. Let's add a menu for drop item. I'll just put it as in for now. What I've made a mistake. I think it's I have. What's the mistake? Oh, I don't have a It's supposed to be greater than 0. What am I missing? Oh, I only had one bracket. Okay, so dog bowl is there. I pick it up, and I've now got the drop item, but I don't have a drop item menu. So we are going to copy those same things across. So instead of transferring it to the player, we're going to transfer it to the player room. Is that going to be right? Nix's Lab says, I'm surprisingly understanding this. I like how the options appear as hyperlinks. Yeah. Well, the default output for Ink, like if I want to export it, it exports it as a web page. So it basically is, by default, you can export it as a web page, and then you can put it on Itch as a web page you can play through. But typically, I think most games that use Ink, they use it as a plugin for like Unity or Unreal, and so I'm aware of at least one game that's quite an advanced space combat game, but when you get into the space stations, it uses the Ink engine for dialogue trees. But anyway, so going back to where I was, so if I go, I forgot to. This is what I forgot to do. Drop item menu. Okay, so if I pick up the dog bowl, so let's go to the living room. Let's go outside. Let's drop the. Wait, I have made a mistake. Hang on. Let's start over again. If I pick up the food bowl, we go drop item. Oh, no, the mistake was this. So I was supposed to say item is in the player rather than the room the player is standing in. So let's start that again. So if I pick up the dog bowl, if I go into drop item, that text should be different. So I'm going to go drop and drop. Okay, so I'm going to just try going to the living room. Actually, why can't I get to the staircase? I've made a mistake here. Adjacent to, the living room is adjacent to the kitchen, the lawn, and the staircase, so I can go upstairs. So let's go to the staircase. Let's drop the food bowl. Okay, so if we go to the hallway, and then I go back to the staircase, I see the food bowl is there, and I can pick up. I can pick up the food bowl. Right now, I probably should add some way of, actually putting things into those, actually filling the water and the food bowl. I guess I'll start with the, I haven't really thought this far ahead about the best way to handle it. I think with the with the water bowl, I think I'll just make it that there's a tap outside. So what I am going to do, now there are more elegant ways to handle this, of course, but I can go if player room equals lawn. I'm going to add an option for turn on tap. And I should add, I'm going to add it as a variable in room. So I'm going to go lawn tap is on, it's false. So the lawn tap is not on, or turn on tap is that. Yeah, so, lawn tap is on. What is it complaining about? Oh, because it's lowercase. Actually, that's a mistake. So lawn tap is on was true, and then lawn tap is on was false. So if I go lawn tap is on true, well, that's sorry, not an if statement. That's a set. So just check. Actually, I'm going to have some logic for handling the tap. So I'm going to go lawn tap is on. Then I'm going to have a nested if statement which says player room equals lawn. It's going to have some text print saying the tap is currently running. Okay, so if I go to the living room, go outside, if I turn on the tap is currently running, turn off the tap. Now I need to have some variables for var water bowl is full, and that is false. Var food bowl is full, it's false. So if the lawn tap is on, then if the water bowl room, actually I'm going to just use the functions. So if I'm going to go item is in room, player room. Actually, which? Oh, yeah, room and item. So, excuse me 1 second. Item is in room, water bowl, or player room. No, sorry. If the water bowl is on the lawn and the water bowl is full, it's false. I think it's just that I haven't actually put any text in here. So, so I'm going to go water bowl is full equals true. And then if the player happens to be in that room, then we'll print some additional text saying the water bowl is now full. So if I go to the living room, I go outside, dog's water bowl is here. I will turn on the tap, so the water bowl is now here. Can I add a condition inside a condition? I assume I should be able to. So if I go water bowl is full, then I can go actually I can be more clever than that. And it is full of water. Or if I add a pipe, I can get the opposite, so I can go empty. I'll add that period outside the text, so outside the condition. So just before we had the water bowl is here and it is empty, we've got the water bowl is here and it is full of water. So I think that will do as far as the water bowl, but we need a way to fill up the bowl of the food bowl. I'm going to add a pantry. So I won't keep the dog food in the kitchen. I'll keep it in the pantry. And the only place I can get to the pantry is the kitchen. So if we're in the kitchen, we can go to the pantry. And then, so we'll handle a little bit different to the water bowl. We're going to say if item is in room player food bowl and player room equals pantry and food bowl is full equals false. We are going to add a new option, which is put food in dog's food bowl. Okay, so if we pick up the food bowl and then one thing I forgot to do is I didn't add an option for going to the pantry. So if the rooms that are adjacent here include the pantry, we can go to the pantry and let's add pantry there. Let's go to the pantry. Let's put food in the dog's bowl. I should add some text to say that's what we've done. You've filled the dog's bowl with food. Okay, so we've got a way to feed a dog and we've got a way to give water to a dog. We don't actually have a dog. So we need to add a dog as a character. But the dog needs to be able to find their way around. And this is where things get pretty complicated and just sort of inelegant because there wasn't really a clean way of doing this. So this is something that I worked out previously. I'm hoping I can remember how to do it all again. So I'm going to add a new variable, which is pathfinding next room. And I'll just set that to 0. And I am going to make this as a not a function knot, just a regular knot, and I'm going to call this tunnel. Actually, doesn't need. Yes, it does need to be tunnel. I'm going to call it tunnel pathfind from 2. So tunnels are a little bit different to functions. What it basically does is it allows you to return to where you were before in the flow of the story. So to start with, we're going to go if from equals 2. So this is just some error checking to make sure, yeah, if we're trying to pathfind to the room that we're already in, we just go pathfinding next room equals 2, and then using this double arrow, that is how we say from a tunnel return to where we were before. So, so that's the first case, is if we happen to be in the room already, that's fine, we can just continue. What if we are adjacent to the room we want to be in? So I'm going to, this is just another quick check. So if we go adjacent to from 2. So if we're trying to pathfind a room and it's already next to where we want to go, we just go pathfinding next room equals 2, and then we'll go back. But this is where it gets... oh, it's supposed to have a colon on the end. Adjacent to... What's it complaining about? 2 arguments. 1... Oh, okay, so, yep. The mistake I made... So if it should have used has. So adjacent to from has. So if the list of rooms that are adjacent to our starting position has the ending position, then that's it. So that's nice and simple. Where it gets complicated is if for more than this, if we want to be able to pathfind from one place in the house to any other place in the house, then we need to do a loop, and that's where things get a bit nasty complicated. So so I'm going to create a new loop called pathfinding loop. Oh, and I need a couple of global variables here. So I'm going to have pathfinding from the pathfinding to. The reason I need global variables here is because these can't be passed into another knot. But I can go pathfinding from equals from pathfinding to equals 2. Oh, and I need a pathfinding check next. So I need a list of rooms to check next. So pathfinding actually, I had two. Sorry, this is rather inelegant. There just sort of isn't a simpler way to do it that I know of. But so we've got pathfinding check now. So that is going to be our first loop, and then check next is going to be the following loop. And so check next, I'll have that empty, but I'm going to go pathfinding check now is going to we're going to start from the ending position and then find our way back to the start, so we know what room is closest from our starting position to the ending one. So do I need pathfinding from? I don't need that, no. So pathfinding from so pathfinding 2 is just where we want to go to. Pathfinding check now is just going to be our ending room. So sorry, got that completely backwards. So that has, so I have to remember where we're pathfinding from, but we're going to start by checking what rooms are adjacent to a destination. So first up, we're going to say if list count pathfinding Um, what did I? Oh, I don't need that. Hey, what? What did I? Oh, is that was supposed to be on that line? Okay. Oh, that's lowercase. Oh, okay. Cannot find list definition that contains. Oh, actually, I'll clear that list and then I'll go pathfinding check now plus equals 2. So that adds that as the first entry. And then I say, well, if we don't have any check now list, then use the check next. I will then go this room to check equals list min pathfinding check now. So what this is saying is get the room from the first room that is in our list of ones that we're checking now. Then we don't need it in our pathfinding check now, so I'm going to go minus equals this room to check. So we don't need to check it anymore. Or we don't need to check it on the second loop. We can say if adjacent to this room to check has from, we say that this room we're checking is adjacent. Oh, actually, not from, that should be pathfinding from. So this room we're checking is adjacent to our starting position. So we'll return, and I'm going to say pathfinding next room equals. I promise this is going to be the most complicated thing in what I'm doing today. The pathfinding next room is going to be this room to check, and then we're done. But if it's not adjacent, then I am going to go, for our next list, I'm going to go pathfinding check next plus equals adjacent to this room check. And then back to the pathfinding loop. So I better save this. I'm hoping it doesn't get stuck in an infinite loop. I know last time I did it, it was a fair bit more, had a lot more error checking than this, but I'm hoping this is going to be enough. But basically what it does is it starts at the end, and it checks every room adjacent to that room, and then every room adjacent to that, and then adjacent to that, and so on and so forth, until it finds, hey, this room is the closest, this room that's adjacent to the start is the closest one to the end. So I am going to give the algorithm test before I go any further. I am going to go tunnel path find from staircase to lawn, and then I think I have broken it. Might have to go back into it. Okay, so I have got have broken it somehow. I'm not quite sure what I've done. Let's add some text here, so finished pathfinding. Just close it and open it again, just in case I've got it stuck in an infinite loop. Phew, this is embarrassing. Well, let's add an error check here. So I'm going to go list count pathfinding. Um, okay, check now list is empty. Okay, so that's the problem we're hitting, is that for some reason that list is empty. Let's see. Okay, so it only loops a couple of times. So for some reason the next pathfinding check next. Oh, no, I got that backwards. Okay, so that was the problem. So the check now should be check next, so, since we're done with the check. Next. Okay, so we've got finished pathfinding. So I think we fixed it. I just had that around the wrong way. And then let's check our logic here. So it says staircase to lawn. So I'm going to print some text. If we want to go from the staircase to the lawn, the closest part is through the, and I will just check. Pathfinding next room was the name of that variable. Yep, that's exactly what I expected. So if we want to go from the staircase to the lawn, we've got to go through the living room. Let's just try. Let's just try somewhere else. So if I go from the bedroom to the pantry, closest path is through the hallway. Actually, if I go from the hallway to the pantry, it says through the staircase. Okay, so that logic seems pretty solid. So let's not worry about that bit. So we've got our we have got our pathfinding, but we need our dog to use it. So characters, I'm going to add dog as a character. I'm going to go, the dog room is the, let's start the dog in the bedroom. And then in our tick function, hey, is Talk Dog is raiding with party of 2. Well, thank you for the raid. What I'm working on now is I'm working on some interactive fiction hijinks with the Ink scripting language. So it's quite different to what I usually do. What I usually do is Scorpion Engine for Amiga, Mega Drive, Neo Geo. But I wanted to do something different today and just sort of share some things I've learned with how we can exploit the Ink interactive fiction engine to make something a little bit less like a choose your own adventure and something more like a traditional adventure game with inventory and NPCs. And so we've just added some basic pathfinding. So what I am going to do is So I've got a dog. I need to add some AI for the dog. So um, g'day, is Talk Dog. G'day, Amiga Cami. It's good to see you both. Right. I'm gonna put the dog logic in a different ink file, and I'm gonna pull this dog tick. So in my main tick, I'm gonna go dog tick. Actually, I'll call this tunnel dog tick. So then I know it's a tunnel, so that it has. No, I have to continue from that, and then tunnel dog tick. And uh, let's add a temp variable, which is no. Let's say we want the dog to find where the player is. So let's go pathfind tunnel pathfind dog room. What's that? Dog room to where the player room is, and then we will go if um, if dog room is different to the as Talk Dog says, came for the Iraq, stayed for the dog. If that's fair enough. Okay, so what was my pathfinding next room was the name of that global variable. So if the room the dog is in is different to the where it's trying to get to, let's go dog room equals pathfinding next room. But more than that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a special case here, which is if player room equals pathfinding next room, we want to announce that the dog has came into the room. So, oops, that should be double equals, of course. So I'm going to have some text saying that the dog has entered the pathfinding next room from the dog room. Actually, one thing I should have added from the start that I completely forgot about, I'll do that now. I'm going to add a wait. So wait doesn't do anything, it just goes back to the tick function. So if I go wait, if I wait for a few turns, hopefully the dog will find the way in here. Maybe not, the dog probably should have gone here by now. What am I doing wrong? So I've got tunnel dog tick. Let's just add some debug text. So debug dog room finding next room. Okay, so the dog's not actually. Oh, I was supposed to return from that tunnel. I think that's the problem. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've got this tunnel. So this runs this code to find playroom. Oh, hi Bailey. Welcome to the stream. Apologies for it not being Scorpion this time, but I really wanted to do a stream about the Ink Interactive Fiction Engine. So if I wait for a few turns, hopefully the dog is going to walk into the pantry. Yep, the dog has in. Oh, sorry, I'm in the kitchen. So the dog has entered the kitchen from the living room. Okay, so if I go into the living room, then the dog will follow me. The dog has entered the living room, the kitchen. If I go outside, the dog has entered the lawn from the living room. Okay, so we've got this behavior where the dog follows you. We're going to want some behavior where it gets hungry or where it needs to drink. So what I am going to do next is, well, firstly I need to fix one thing that I forgot about, which was here I need to add some text to say whether the food bowl is empty or not. So I'm going to go, and it is, food bowl is full. It's full of food, or it's empty. And then I'll close that condition, then I'll add a period at the end. Okay, so the dog's food bowl is here and it is empty. So I'm going to add, I am going to add a couple of variables. I'm going to move that dog room into the dog file, so everything's together. I'm going to go var add a hunger meter. So I'm going to go dog hungry equals 0, and then var dog thirsty 0. And then every time we run this tick, the dog hungry and the dog thirsty goes up. So I'm going to go dog hungry +1, and then dog thirsty +1. Oh, sorry, that should be plus equals 1. Plus equals 1. So the dog's going to get hungrier, the dog's going to get thirstier, and then if the dog gets beyond a certain hunger level... Actually, I'm going to say thirst is more important than hunger. So I'm going to go if dog thirsty is greater than 10, then dog is going to look for actually, just to be clean, I'm going to put that in a separate separate tunnel. So I'm going to call this tunnel dog thirsty. So it's just going to go to tunnel dog thirsty, and then it's going to go back to where it was before. So that closing tick basically means return. So if the dog is thirsty, then the dog is going to pathfind to wherever the food... What was it? Just the water bowl room. I may need special handling for if the player is holding the water bowl. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen if the player is holding it, but so I'm going to say if the dog room if the dog is in the same room as the water bowl. Actually, no, I'm going to go if it's not equal to that room, then I will. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of the cleanest way to handle. Because I've already got some logic for handling the dog moving between rooms, so I'm going to make a function for it so that I don't need to repeat any code. I'm going to go function move dog 2, and then so move dog. Actually, I don't need a 2. I can just use the pathfinding next room variable. I'm going to go return. So if it's different to the water bowl room, then we move dog. Otherwise, I'm going to say dog is barking at the water bowl. Oh, actually, I should add a condition which says water bowl is full. Dog is drinking from the water bowl. So then I'll say dog thirsty 0. Water bowl is full is false. And then return. Otherwise, the dog is bark at the water bowl until it's filled up. And I'm going to make the dog thirsty by default. So let's go to the living room. Okay, so dogs enter the living room from the staircase. So if I go outside, the dog has entered the lawn from the living room. Let's just wait. Whoops. Dog is barking at the water bowl. Oh, because I forgot to add a return here. So the dog is barking at the water bowl. The dog's bowl is here. The water bowl is here is empty. So the dog is just going to bark at it constantly. So let's turn on the tap. So tap is running. The water bowl is now full. So let's turn off the tap. So the dog is drinking from the water bowl. So the dog's not thirsty anymore. And since the dog isn't thirsty anymore, the dog will just follow me wherever I go. If I go to the hallway, the bedroom, if I wait a little bit, the dog should get hungry again or thirsty again. Oh, actually, I haven't got any text for leaving the room. So let's just change that a bit. So I'm gonna if player room equals dog room, the player room has left in the direction of the pathfinding next room. So that text will display when the dog leaves. Hopefully. Yep. Okay. So the dog is thirsty again. The dog is left in the direction. Oh. The dog has left in the direction of the hallway. Why has the dog come back? Oh, because I was supposed to return there. Okay, so the dog is left to the hallway. If I wait, I should be able to hear the dog barking because I haven't said anything about the dog. Yeah, the dog is barking in the water bowl. So even though I'm in the bedroom, I can hear that the dog is barking. So let's go down to the staircase. Let's go to the living room. Let's go outside. The lawn, the dog is barking in the water bowl. I'm going to save that. What happens if I pick up the water bowl? I'm hoping it doesn't break anything. Okay, yep, it does. Okay, so I will need to add a fix for the pathfinding so that if okay, so 2 equals player room, or 2 equals player room. So I'll make a quick note. So saying if we're trying to pathfind to the player, instead pathfind to the room the player is in. And what is... Oh. Okay, so let's start that again. So I'm going to go to the living room and then to outside. And the dog's bowl is there and it's empty. Let's pick up the dog's water bowl. Into the lawn from the living room. Should add something for the... Okay, so the dog's following me, but the dog should be barking at me because I have the empty water bowl. Why is dog was okay? I should change that to being pathfinding next room. Break anything? Okay, so I've got the bowl, and the dog is just barking at it. And it doesn't matter where I go. If I go to the kitchen, the dog is going to follow me. The dog is into the kitchen from the living room. If I wait, there's barking at the water bowl. So I better go fill it up. If I go to the I have to go outside. So if I go to the living room, I go outside the lawn. Let's drop the item. Drop the dog's bowl. Let's turn on the tap. And if I wait for a turn, the dog is drinking from the water bowl. So if I turn off the tap, the water bowl is still there and it's still full. If I go to the living room, the dog is going to follow me. Kitchen. Okay, so that basically handles the water. We might as well handle the hunger as well. So I'm going to make hunger less important than thirst. So I'm going to go dog, hungry, 20. I'll make the dog hungry to begin with. And then I think we can just copy and paste most of this logic. Put on pathfind from the dog room to the food bowl room. I can go if food bowl is full. Actually, I need to make sure that the dog doesn't drink from the bowl while the player has it. So all I need to do there is water bowl is full and item is in room. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit more elegant. I'm going to add a function called item in inventory. And then I can just go return item is in room player item equals true. So if I go back to here, I can go if item is in inventory. Oh, what was it I called it? Item in inventory. Item in inventory. Water bowl. It's false. And I'll need to do that. So food bowl is full. And food bowl is false. So the dog has eaten all of the food. I'm going to go dog hungry equals 0. And then food bowl is full equals false. And then I'm just going to go dog is barking at the food bowl. Oh, that should be player capital. Okay, so if I go to the living room, the dog has entered the living room to the staircase. So the dog is barking at the water bowl. Let's go outside. Let's turn on the tap. Let's wait another turn. The dog is drinking from the water bowl. The tap's currently, because the tap is still running, the water bowl is still full. So let's turn off the tap. Dog is left in the direction of the living room. Dog is left in the direction of the kitchen because so we know the dog is hungry. Dog is barking at the food bowl. So let's pick up the dog's food bowl. So dog is barking at the food bowl. Let's go to the pantry. The dog is in the kitchen. Let's wait a turn. So the dog is still barking at the food bowl. Let's put food in the dog's food bowl. The dog is still barking at it because we're holding on to it. Let's not feed the dog in the pantry. Let's go out. Let's go outside. And let's drop the food bowl here. Now that seems to be an error. What did we do? Oh, maybe the dog just got hungry again. Let's wait another turn. Okay. So the dog got hungry the dog got thirsty while we were getting the food for the dog. So that's a sort of complicated mechanics I quite like, is where you can't sort of predict what a character is going to do based on certain things like how hungry they are, or how thirsty they are. But yeah, so that's basically all I wanted to cover. I'm probably going to put this ink project on Git as an example of how you can sort of use um, ink to make these sorts of weird adventure games where there are characters that are autonomous and do things like pathfinding their way through the world to complete their objectives. I don't really have anything more I was planning to do at the moment, but I will hang around for another minute if there's sort of any questions about anything. Right. Okay. Well, I will leave it there for today. Thanks so much for joining the stream. And so, yeah, this was basically just a one and done deal. I wanted to do one stream on Ink and then I'll get back to Scorpion stuff. And so I hope to see you all next time.